Ravens, Steelers. Can Pittsburgh come to the bank and take the North? Or will the Ravens hit back and stay at the top of the AFC race? This is a game preview episode featuring Coach Evans from Sip2Tally Films. Let's dive into it.
Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown game preview episode, previewing the Ravens and Steelers. And I got a special guest on today, Coach Evans from Sip2Tally Films. Make sure you go follow Coach. He knows more football than most of us, man. And I have all the links in the description. And he brought me on his channel a few weeks ago, and we had a great conversation. So I won't be the last time I bring him on, but I wanted to make sure that I got you on, Coach. And thanks for educating the Ravens community, entertaining the Ravens community, and inspiring me with your consistency as well. So thanks for coming on. And how are you doing? How's life?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you for having me on. And you're one of the guys that kind of inspire me, because I see y'all, you grinding every day, and I like sometimes like, man, I'm not doing a video every day, and then I get the alert. Yeah, I better get up and go do a video today.
Yeah.
If I want to stay relevant, I better get up and do something. So you guys, with your work ethic, y'all keeping me on my toes to do what I need to do, and it's just helpful for everybody. It's you get more content for the flock. We learn more about each other in the game, and then we have collaborations like this that always turn out well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So we got a banger of a matchup this week, this Saturday, and we're going to dive into all the details of this. But I wanted to start out with, what is your favorite Ravens-Steelers memory? It could be a game you went to, or just a game that was on TV or whatever. What sticks out to you over the course of this rivalry?
I haven't made it to Pittsburgh yet, but I do plan on going one day. For I want to hear all that hoopla that they have, and with my parents being Steelers fans, I want to rub it in their face too. But my favorite, and it kind of was, we kind of got screwed on my favorite Steelers Ravens memory. And Brent Coleman just put out the video about the I think it was the 2008 game when Troy Polamalu returned for the touchdown. But my favorite one is comical, yet it hurt us too. Was Mike Tomlin doing the stanky leg while Jacoby was running down the sideline, and he stepped on the field.
I was at that game.
Really?
Yeah.
He acted like he didn't see him. That sticks out. There have been some epic games now, but that foolery right there is what sticks out the most to me, because there have been some straight up wars. Straight up wars. And like that episode I watched last night, it brought back so many memories of how we were in the game, out the game, in the game, out the game. And then when you lose games like that, it's deflating for everybody. I know the players are deflated, but the fan base is, for 3 hours, we went up and down, and we're done after that. We're spent, so to speak. But Mike Tomlin stepping on the field and acting like he didn't see Jacoby coming, and just Jacoby's dance in the Super Bowl. He hit some dance moves that I knew, and it kind of it sat in me, because my roommate was from New Orleans, and we used to go down there a lot in college, and so it was fun to see Jacoby do his thing. But that one particular memory is Tomlin on the field, but Jacoby doing his dance in the Super Bowl, it was special for me too.
Love it, man. Yeah, no, there's a ton of memories. Mine, speaking on you saying that you haven't been to Pittsburgh, mine was the only time I've ever went to a Pittsburgh game. Was I think it was 2015. It was a wild card playoff game the week before we played the Patriots, and it was in Pittsburgh. I forget what year it was.
Was that the week before the Lee Evans drop?
No, not that year. It was it was a few years after that. It was when we had like Steve Smith, and we played New England, and we were down 14 like two separate times. And just like kept fighting. I think Edelman or Amendola threw a touchdown pass too. Like that, it was the week before that game we played in Pittsburgh, and I went to college up at IUP, which most people probably don't know, but it's Indiana, Pennsylvania. So it's like 45 minutes outside of Pittsburgh, and my friend was a Steelers fan, so we drove up to the playoff game, and it was exactly what you would think when it comes to like a nasty atmosphere, man. It was just like ugly banter, but I loved every second of it. I like legit felt like I was in enemy territory, and then the fact that we won that game, just walking out of there was like one of the most special feelings. So I love this rivalry, and it seems to be heating back up. We finally got some meaningful games. I know the football's a little less physical and less violent than it used to be, but at least we're playing for something. And this Saturday, we got the division on the line, essentially. I know it's not decided officially if the Ravens win, but if the Steelers win, they're going to win the AFC North. They're going to be celebrating this win at the bank, and that is just something that I feel like we cannot afford to let happen. So let's dive into this matchup overall. We'll start with the injury report and just kind of go over it. It's a little early, so we're not too sure of every single player that's going to play right now. But on the Ravens front, seems like Nelson Aguilar is going to be out. He's got a concussion, still not practicing. So usually when you don't clear protocol by this point, I mean, unless he comes back tomorrow, he's probably going to be out in this game. So that means some more Tylan Wallace, some more Tez Walker, who can build upon last week maybe. And then Justice Hill missed practice today, but it says personal, so I think he's fine. There's a bunch of guys added to the injury report, but I really don't think the Ravens are at risk of missing, like Owe and Bateman or Falele, any of these guys. I'd be shocked if they miss. So the Ravens are looking pretty healthy. On the Steelers front, they got a lot of key guys that still aren't practicing. Deshaun Elliott, Cam Hayward's just rest. That's not a big deal. But Dante Jackson, Pickens is still out. And then TJ Watt did make his return today. So he's most likely going to be playing in this matchup. And then I would say Pickens, Elliott, and Jackson are probably truly up in the air. But looking at this injury report, what kind of sticks out to you, or what are your overall thoughts? Anything?
On the Baltimore side, you talked about the game being softer here lately, but that Nelly concussion, I can kind of tell you how that he got the concussion on the pass he caught. And normally, the football that we know, you just going back out there. You can shake it off and go back out there. But this new football player, and which nothing is wrong with that because they're protecting their future. Nelly caught that ball, hit his head on the ground, realized that it was pretty hard. He probably had little cobwebs. He instantly signaled for somebody to come in for him and never went back out there. But I know players 15, 20 years ago, if you don't pull them out, they're going right back to that huddle.
Yeah, ain't gonna say a word. Not saying nothing. Yep.
So his concussion, I mean, and I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying like the new football player compared to what we're used to seeing, like, because I saw that thing. Some of them hits Ed Reed did.
Yeah, and it was celebrated.
Broke.
Yeah. That was top 10. That was like top 10 on Sports Center when you helmet to helmet somebody and knock them out.
But as far as the other guys, I agree with you. I don't think we'll be too hurt by the guys on here, and some of these guys that were limited, I think, are going to play. It's nice to have Sanusi back too, to do what he do on special teams, because he's a energy guy on special teams. And TJ Tampa, glad to see him healthy. I don't know if that means he's gonna play, but glad to see him healthy. And as for the Steelers, if all those guys play, fine. But the one that I would like for not to play is Pickens.
Yeah.
Because I really don't think TJ Watt's gonna be full go. But Pickens is like, to me, their offense is just run the ball, and if we can't run it, 14 down there somewhere.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's changed in the last 3 weeks. We've seen them without Pickens, or not 2 weeks. I'm sorry. I think 2 games, but either way, like, their offense has been struggling without him, and their wide receiver talent is a big reason because of that. I mean, Pickens is, especially against us too, there's going to be some guaranteed pass interferences or something if he's out there. So yeah. All right. Yeah.
The Ogunjobi is a big one too, because if you got Hayward and Ogunjobi, that's tough on both our guards.
Yeah, that's a good point too. He missed last week, I believe, and but he's limited practices. I would imagine he'd go, and then I think Hayward's just rest. But I think they'll probably. The
only thing I think that'll stop TJ and Pickens from playing is the fact that the game is Saturday and not Sunday. Well, more so TJ than Pickens, because I think Pickens got hamstring, and that thing is funny. Them hamstrings are funny, extremely funny.
Yeah, and it seems to be lingering. I think I saw TJ today, like, running though. I feel like he's playing, man.
Yeah, he looked fine doing karaoke and his little sprints. I was like, oh yeah, he playing.
We'll start with the Steelers offense going against the Ravens defense. I feel like that is more straightforward in a way. But what is your take if Pickens does play? how would you? We did shut them down kind of a few weeks ago. You know, they didn't even score a touchdown in week 11 when we played. They had 18 points, and Pickens was in that game.
Right.
So, and that was the first game, I believe, that we moved our safeties, our Darius Washington, Kyle Hamilton back there. I think that was the first week we tried that, and it worked really well. So we have the same. We've been rolling with the same lineup, and our defense appears to be on the rise. I truly don't feel like the Steelers pose on offense a ton of problems for our defense. I think our defense is going to be able to kind of contain them like we did a few weeks ago. But what is your take just for the overall matchup? What stands out to you? How should our defense kind of attack their offense if Pickens is there and maybe if Pickens isn't there?
I think the number one thing for our defense to attack them is Broderick Jones. He, at the time that we played them, he had given up the most sacks in the NFL at that position, and then Oweh got 2 on him. So, and I know he's still a starter because I saw the video from the fight a couple weeks ago. So it would be to attack him with whoever is our best pass rusher. Go at him, get Russ off the spot, and don't give him time to kind of pick you apart, because I'm gonna assume that we're going to stop their run. You know, maybe not to, under 50 yards, but have their yards per carry low enough to where we're not scared by their run. So my thing is, when we get them in pass situations, which is hopefully a lot of third downs, we got to beat Jones. Jones can't have a good game versus whoever's over there, because if you give Russ time, he'll pick you apart. But if you rush him, he's just gonna throw them Hail Marys. And if he don't have the Hail Mary guy, I think we easily, can defend them. But if they do have them, then that creates a whole nother problem. So I think the strategy will be the same. The big thing is when he goes for those Hail Marys with Pickens, you gotta be in position to either tackle him as soon as he catch it, or be in position to knock it away. Because if he get 1 or 2, then his energy go through the roof. He get hot, and then Russ can, because you got to bag off of him because he can beat you over the top now. Then he'll take a slant for 60. So that's why I think he's the key to what they do offensively. And if he's not there, I really think we should shut them down to the extent where the offense got a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, get them off the field quick, because they're good at keeping us off the field.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is how they win a lot of games. They keep winning these lower scoring games. I know they've had a few offensive explosions, I think, against the Bengals game or whatever, but everyone's kind of putting up points on the Bengals defense. So like their strategy really is to like keep the ball in the Steelers' hands and out of Lamar's hands. And then obviously we make a couple mistakes here and there on offense, and it goes their way. But no, I'm with you. I think getting pressure on Russ, stopping the run, we're definitely going to stop the run. Like you said, maybe not under 50 yards, but like we have stopped pretty much every single rushing offense outside of Saquon in that one game late. But the Ravens defense has a dominant run stopping defense, and I just don't see it going any other way. And I think without Pickens, we really can handle these receivers. I mean, there's just no excuse to even be getting any penalties or putting yourself in bad situations, because the pass interference penalty, I want to get your thoughts on this too. Like, is it just Stevens and Wiggins sometime? I love Wiggins' play, but I mean, he's a rookie, so he's gonna, he's got to get his head turned around in certain situations. But Brandon Stevens this year, especially compared to last year, is having just way more pass interference penalties, and it has not been corrected all season at this point. And a guy like Pickens poses those problems. You honestly can just make sure that you create that matchup with Brandon Stevens and just throw him the ball, even if Brandon Stevens is covering him.
Yeah.
So why do you think Stevens is getting so many pass interference penalties, and what's the drop off, and is there a way to correct it at this point?
I don't think it's a way to correct it, but he had 3 last Sunday.
Yeah, every time neighbors on him is
I think 2 of them, in my opinion, were crap calls. One definitely, but I think 2 of them were crap calls. And I think the fact that he's been getting them early in the year is starting to stick with him, because the referees, they football fans too. They know who the guys that getting targeted the most. And so I think for him, any little thing, especially with the fact that he wasn't turning his head around for a while, they were gonna get him on. In this game, he actually got his head around, and I thought made some good plays, but 2 of the 3 PIs I don't think were PIs. Like, seriously, like, to me, he got his head around. There may have been incidental contact, and then he swatted at the ball. So I don't see how they were PIs compared to some of the stuff that goes on in the league. I don't know if we just got a microscope on us for flags, but it seems that way.
Feels like no, it does feel that way every week, man. It's like, and I think honestly, the receivers sell it a little bit too. If you watch them, they're really falling and selling the PI, and they probably see it on film that the Ravens are one of the most highly penalized teams. So they're like, all right, the refs are going to be kind of glued in on the Ravens a little bit because they're undisciplined. Like, let's just start flopping if there's any contact, and then it kind of goes against us. But yeah, I overall I love the way we match up against the Steelers offense. I think our defense, especially the way that it's been playing, should be able to contain them and hold them under 20, which I think is important in this game. I think where it's going to be lower scoring, but as long as we don't allow them to get 24, 30 points, I think our offense should be able to get over 20. So let's move over to that side of the ball.
Okay.
And I think this is what I'm most interested in, because we have, arguably the best offense in the entire NFL. It's a pick your poison offense. We can run with dominance, and we're throwing with dominance this year. But for whatever reason, when we go against the Steelers, and it's mainly their front, I would say, causes problems, but that doesn't always, it's more than just the front to me, because when we play Pittsburgh, we all of a sudden have a ton of mistakes, and credit to them. They're creating a lot of these turnovers. They're punching the ball out. They're making crazy interceptions. And they had 3 turnovers, I think, a few weeks ago when we played them. They stripped likely Henry as soon as the game started, got the ball knocked out.
Peyton,
on Hill,
whatever his name out. Yep. So that's 3 right there.
3, I mean, that's huge. And then we're turning the ball over. We're not getting turnovers on the other side. And then you add some Tucker missed field goals into that, and
two, right?
Yeah, 2 missed field goals and 3 turnovers. So you can't win that way. I mean, you're not going to beat many teams that way. But why is this happening versus Pittsburgh? And is it a focus issue? Is it the Steelers being very opportunistic compared to a lot of other teams and making sure that they're getting the ball out? They're putting emphasis on that. I don't know if you saw the clip today, but Todd Monken ran over to the receivers and was like, correcting the drill and making sure that they're punching harder just to kind of prepare for this. And I think there obviously needs to be a focus on ball security always. But why are we, when we play Pittsburgh, making all of these mistakes, and how do we kind of lock in and not have that happen this week?
I think most of it is kind of what you mentioned earlier. Their front to me is their defensive strength, whereas our front is our offensive weakness.
Yep.
And so they create so much pressure with a lot of times with just 4. And then you got a premier guy on the end with Watt. And then you got these 2 or 3 other guys that are, they don't suck, but they're not Watt. So they can win one-on-ones or whatever. But Watt can pretty much win when he wants to, almost. And so that makes, to me, Watt makes those guys better. He's what I would call the gravity player, because all the attention is played to him. So like Highsmith and Herbig and whoever else they got over there, they pretty much all get one-on-ones. And so if I win 50% of my one-on-ones, I should have a good game.
Yeah.
And so I think their front really creates that. And then the fact that you play them so much, 2, sometimes 3 times a year, everybody knows it's a heated rivalry. So you lock in a little more, because even if your season is sucking and the other one's going good, you want to beat them and spoil them. But the fact that both teams have a lot riding on this is going to be even more impactful, because like you said, the Steelers could win it, and then, or they can let us back in with this. And so, once you get in those tiebreakers, and I know they have it right now, but anything could go. And with us, if we beat them, or like I say, when we beat them, they still got another hard game left.
2 of them, really. I mean, I don't think it's impossible that they couldn't lose to the Bengals if the Bengals are still fighting for something. They have an explosive offense that can put up points. So, but yeah, Chiefs, Bengals. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they drop one of those games, and if we win out, then we win the division. Speaking of the front, though, how can we? Obviously we have some guard issues. I don't think that the talent is just going to get better out of nowhere. So, what would you do if you were game planning for this to try and neutralize a Watt, or just help this protection out so that we can consistently move the ball, or at least, score when we do move the ball against them sometimes. But it seems like every time we get to the 40 or the 30, you know, Lamar gets sacked or we take a holding penalty, and then these drive stallers, and then now we're relying on Tuck to make field goals. And you know, this year that might not be something that you want to do right now. So like, what can we do if you were game planning for this? You know, if you were the coach, like what would you do to help the offensive line out so that we can drive and score more consistently?
To help, because they have two guys and it's tough. Like you could double one guy, but they got two guys, you know, on the interior and on the edge. So you're gonna have to have your tight end chips. You're gonna have to have your running back chips. You have to have some quick hitting stuff to get the ball out, and you got to keep going with your screen game, and then mix in your regular plays from time to time. But you got to keep, like, as a play caller, you got to know in the back of your head, I can't call a lot of stuff that's, you know, down the field hitting. Unless we're in 3rd and 14, 15, everything I need to be called need to be geared toward 6, 7, 8 yards. And then, you know, with schemed up right. And then if you have for real playmakers, when they make somebody miss, that's when you get your jumps. So my thing is, and this is me, but I'm a little conservative when it comes to play calling. I'm gonna try to get you 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and then when they walk up or go one high, then we'll hit our shot. I'm not the type that's gonna force the shot. I ain't looking for the big shot. I'm looking for this nickel every time. You're gonna give me this nickel every time, I'm gonna take it. But in the league, they call plays or they read the field from the top down. I just was taught different. So, you know, they want the big play. They want the 60, 70-yard bump. Whereas me, I want to throw this little 10-yard out. And if I got a guy that catches a 10-yard out, he makes somebody miss, he can do the rest.
Like Zay, yeah. And especially when you don't have time, right? Like it's not like Lamar. I mean, I know Lamar does an incredible job escaping, but I'm just saying, I would say the Steelers do one of the best jobs of bringing an extra pressure when Lamar's trying to escape. And he just doesn't have as much time. You know, you're not going to have as much time in this game. So I do like that strategy. What kind of like run pass balance would you try and run more? We haven't had a lot of success against talented fronts. They've been kind of crashing our line of scrimmages we've seen. Even in the Giants game, I felt like our run game wasn't really cooking earlier in the game, a little bit after the second half. But would you commit to the run a lot and really try to get Henry involved, or are you trying to take, you know, if it goes the way it has been going, are you just taking those short passes and marching down the field that way?
If they give us a non-loaded box, I'm gonna try to establish the run with Henry, but I'm not gonna do it with gap and power runs, because neither guard, and this is no shade on Linderbaum or him, they're not going to move Hayward.
Right. Yeah.
And so in the run, counter, and power, you got to move the nose or the one tick. And if you can't move him, he can destroy your power or counter before it even gets started because of your pullers. You run into your pullers, and now you got a free. We lose a number, and you got a free linebacker on the running back, and that ain't gonna work. So my thing is, if I want to establish the run, but it needs to be outside runs. Because you know, run at TJ Watt, run at Highsmith, make them make plays to cut it back or whatever, and get them guys going left and right. And because and we know Pat Queen is known for overrunning gaps time to time. He overruns something on Henry, that's a touchdown if he don't stay sound. So, and then the other guy's a rookie, the other linebacker. So get them guys going side to side. Let Derrick Henry do what he's done for 10, 11, 12 years, however long he's been in the league, and stop trying to force a round hole in the square peg, because we just not good at power. If we run it every night, it hits every now and then. No, nothing crazy about it. It does, but it's not consistent. And then stats
that's because our line can't move people like
exactly.
That.
We got 3 agile guys, and we got 4 agile guys. I'm sorry, but one of them that's 6'8", 370 shouldn't be agile. That should be power. But it's you're not playing to your strengths, in my opinion. And I think we win in spite of it instead of because. Even when we have those great rushing games, you still see Derrick Henry doing too much of making people miss in the backfield.
Yeah, he
had a tough 80 yards Sunday, like you mentioned. The girl, it was a tough whatever he had.
He's like 67.
Yeah,
it was which tough. Is lower for this season. That's what I said. I mean, he and like you said, he wasn't. I mean, he didn't have many holes at all. Like he's getting hit as soon as he gets the ball, and Yeah, I like what you're saying about it. We need to run a little bit more outside and make some smaller guys try to tackle him too, instead of trying to run up the middle while we're not moving these big bodies, especially against this front. But yeah. All right. So I always end the game preview episodes kind of giving like my score prediction. I don't know if you're saving yours or if you even do that for your channel or whatever. All right, cool. So I'm going the Ravens. I don't think we can lose this game. And I'm not even being biased. I genuinely just don't think that the Ravens are going to let Pittsburgh celebrate the AFC North at M&T Bank this Saturday. I would be shocked. I don't think that's good for the mental moving forward. I think this team is locked in and just way too talented. As long as we play clean football, that we should win this game. So I got the Ravens winning this one 24-17. But what's your overall prediction about how you kind of see this game going, and a score prediction if you want?
So I'm gonna have two. I'm gonna have one for you here, and I'm gonna have one for my channel.
All right.
And this one is not Pickens playing. This is no Pickens playing, but everybody else still does. And that is 31-17.
Oh,
that's 31. I think
you got to score.
Yeah, I think we score on them. I think we get up on them and score on them. And I think that not having him will help us have more opportunities. And that's why I feel like we, push the score a little higher.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree. I don't think the Steelers are going to be able to put up points at all if Pickens isn't playing. I definitely agree. I would love to score 31. That would be beautiful. I would love a comfortable win against the Steelers, man. It's always these nail biter games that are super tight. At 31-17 would be incredible. But yeah, any final thoughts about the game before we get out of here? Anything that you anything that's on your mind? Or
yeah, I just want them to be a competent football team. Like, relax, don't make them earn everything they get. And that means eliminating. I know you can't completely eliminate them, but eliminating mental penalties and staying in front of the sticks. And you just, alignment, assignment. And one thing, and I don't know if you noticed this, but Trent didn't play much this week.
Right.
And so watching the tape, I didn't see Roquan with a lot of, hey, you need to be right here, or like pointing at gaps, like where they need to be, or slide over. I didn't see Ro doing a lot of that. And granted, Ro didn't have a lot of tackles. I felt he played smoother because the lesser Board and Malik are lesser talented guys than Trent. But if they know what to do, if they know what to do, and it's helping Ro do what he needs to do, I understand why 23 didn't play that much. We only played.
I think that's what it is the experience. They're playing their assignment better than Trent, even though Trenton is a freak athlete and has a ton of speed and is an explosive player. And I think as he gets more experience, he is going to have a nice role on this team. But I'm with you. Yeah, we're playing way better linebacker ball right now, and Board and Malik are a big reason because of that. We kind of found that. I think we discovered that in the Chargers game when Rowe was out, and then since then we've been giving him the opportunity. That's a good point.
Because Malik last year was primarily a first down or run down defensive end.
Yeah, just setting the edge. Yep. Well, all right, Coach, I appreciate you coming on, man. It was an honor to have you on. It won't be the last time. We'll definitely get you back on here. And I definitely think that the Ravens have a big opportunity to really take this division and keep building this momentum out into the rest of the season, into the playoffs, and hopefully go on a run here, man. It's going to be beautiful. But let the people know where they can. Yeah, for sure. Let the people know where they can follow you on socials or YouTube and everything.
On YouTube, what else I got? TikTok, Instagram is Sip2Tally Films. On Twitter, it's X, it's Coach Evans 9, and if you do Blue Sky, it's Sip2Tally over there as well. Eventually, that Coach Evans 9 may turn to Sip2Tally, but I still got one more dream in me. That's why I'm leaving it there.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, and I'll have all the links in the description below. Guys, make sure you go follow him. He is so knowledgeable and entertaining, and you definitely will learn a lot and become a smarter football fan because of Coach. So go over there. Yeah, of course, man. And I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Go Ravens. And I'll let the greatest linebacker in the history of the game take us out.
Take us out, Ray.
Ravens flock. flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. The flock rundown. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.